At the engagement ceremony site, my phone buzzed. A paid 6DO link from an unknown Otsao, priced at 888 yuan. Below was fine print. Your wife's surprise. My heart sank. A nameless fury hit me, but mostly an absurd premonition. I entered my pat gut. The 6DO buffered. 2 seconds later, the screen lit up. My breath hitched. In a dim hotel room, a woman straddled a man, moving intensely. Even if she turned to ashes, I'd still know that face. It was Lu Ruyan, my fiancé, and the man beneath. I knew him. Ito Makoto, her secret white moonlight, whose contact she refused to delete. In that instant, my blood froze. The world went silent, only my heavy breathing. I didn't smash walls, nor go crazy on sight. I calmly saved the 6DO and projected it on the screen. Wedding gift of 888 yuan, paid in full. Everyone is invited. At first, relatives and friends thought it was just couples flirting, but in less than 10 seconds, the whole hall was shocked. My future mother-in-law was the first to stand up. Are you crazy? What crap are you posting? Her screech echoed through the hall, shattering my eardrums. I looked at her, my voice as calm as stagnant water. Did I stutter? You didn't see clearly? Why forge this to slander Ruyan? How has she ever wronged you? Even at this point, the Lu family was in denial. Whether it's forged, you know best in your heart, or go ask him right now. Mother-in-law tried to speak, but was stopped by my dad beside her. Zishuan, what are you doing? Turn that thing off right now. What can't be discussed in private? Why make a scene? Dad, my face was trampled at my own banquet. Is face more important than my dignity? Lu Ruyan, who was resting backstage, also heard the commotion. With disheveled hair, she rushed into the hall, tears streaming. Wang Zishuan, what the hell is wrong with you? Why do you keep saying that 6DO is fake? It's AI face swapping. Wang Zishuan, are you trying to ruin me? Mother-in-law pointed at me, cursing wildly. Everyone look. Zishuan wants to call off the wedding, so he used AI face swapping to frame our Ruyan. My poor Ruyan has had such a hard life. I watched this ugly performance, saying nothing. Instead, I took out another spare phone from my pocket and tapped at Tsao link. AI face swapping, is it? I projected the screen again. Above were photos I recovered from her Tsao drive. Photo after photo, all intimate shots of her and Ito Makoto. From college all the way to the latest one last week. Even at the entrance of the hotel and the 6DO, I thoughtfully opened the detailed photo info. The shooting time and location were crystal clear. Mess, the Lu. Are these photos also AI generated? Lu Ruyan's crying stopped. She stared deathly at my phone screen, the color draining from her face at a visible speed, turning as pale as paper. And your hotel records with Ito Makoto. A total of 23 times over the past year. Do you need me to read them to you? January 23, 5:37 p.m. South City Boutique Hotel. Couple suite arrived. Lu Ruyan's body swayed, and she collapsed onto the floor in an instant. Her parents' curses stopped. They looked at their daughter in disbelief, then back at me. The guests present also raised their phones to gossip. What else is there to say? Get lost. Just then, a text message lit up on my phone screen from Ito Makoto, an arrogant declaration. He didn't know this was just the start. I deleted the text as if nothing had happened. That night, I sat at my computer and wrote a script. I took that 888 yuan 6DO pixelated sensitive parts, paired it with Ito Makoto's arrogant remark, "Thanks for the gift money," and edited a 15-second 6DO. This 6DO, along with screenshots of Lu Ruyan and Ito Makoto's hotel records, was uploaded simultaneously to hundreds of local forums, gossip groups, and short 6DO platforms. I didn't use any of my personal information. All AI PI addresses were routed overseas via proxies. I even spent 1,000 yuan to hire a few marketing accounts to precisely target Lu Ruyan and Ito Makoto, her employer. Public relations Not Geo of XXX Group. Cheating during marriage. Toying with a married man's wife at Pengcheng Chicken Soup Management. Fueled by money, the two topics began to ferment. At first it only spread on a small scale, but soon, a gossip blogger with tens of millions of followers reposted the 6DO. Once the snowball of public opinion starts rolling, it cannot be stopped. Lu Ruyan's social media accounts were dug up. All those pictures of her looking peaceful in content had now become a joke. Meanwhile, under the official Otsao of Ito Makoto's company, tens of thousands of questions and taunts instantly flooded in. Can your management not manage themselves? Did the money spent on your group's products all turn into hotel room fees for people like this? Such large enterprises value brand image the most. Negative public opinion is a fatal poison. As expected, at 9 a.m. next day, Ito Makoto's company released a termination statement with icy wording, cutting off all ties. It seemed Ito Makoto had been ruthlessly abandoned by the career he was so proud of. But this was just the start. Because of this incident, Ruyan also lost her job, losing husband and reputation. She couldn't take it. That night, she called me. On the other end of the line was a long-suppressed, breakdown cry. Zishuan, I'm begging you. Please forgive me. It was my fault. I listened quietly. As long as you forgive me. I listened quietly. In the gaps of crying, I clearly heard on the other end another woman's voice. Look at the mess you made. Now look, our cash cow is gone. And the house we got our hands on is gone too. It was her mother. I said nothing, hung up the phone, and then blocked all of Lu Ruyan's contact info. I almost forgot there was still an apartment between Lu Ruyan and me. Back then, to avoid the second home policy, I used Lu Ruyan's first-time buyer qualification. But in reality, the vast majority of the money for the house came from me. Since they schemed against me, I wouldn't let them win. I immediately called the real estate agent to help sell the wedding apartment off. The sooner it's off my hands, the better. Until the next morning, her name finally popped up in my WeChat friend requests. She obviously found out she had been deleted by me. When I returned to my parents' home, however, I found she had already been waiting inside. Arriving together with her were the Lu parents. Lu Ruyan's eyes were red and swollen, tear tracks on her face. The moment she saw me, she lunged forward. Zishuan, why hurt me? You blocked me. I was scared. I was scared to death. I looked expressionlessly, as if looking at a total stranger. Mrs. Lu grabbed her emotionally unstable daughter, staring with displeasure. Naturally, it was the same old rhetoric, accusing me of ignoring calls and playing missing, making a fuss over a tiny issue to break up. Why break up? You know very well in your hearts. Was the 6DO not clear enough? Or do you want me to show it to you again? Lu Ruyan's face instantly turned ashen. She grabbed my arm eagerly. It's not what you think, I can explain. I just had too much to drink. I looked coldly. We are breaking up, and I am serious. There's nothing left for us to talk about. Now there are only some property issues to settle. I looked at Ruyan, saying every single word with absolute clarity. That wedding apartment we bought together must be dealt with. I've listed it with an agent. The moment the house was mentioned, the expressions of Lu Ruyan and her mother changed completely. That apartment was the final shackle of our relationship, and also the backing they bought with all their savings. No way. Why should the house be sold? It's in Ruyan's name, and our family put down 300,000 for the down payment. What does it have to do with you? Lu Ruyan also grabbed my hand, crying as she said, Zishuan, you can't do this to me. That is our home. We promised to get married there, and spend our lives there. Have you forgotten? I pulled my hand back. What kind of home is a place someone could casually abandon me in for another man? I looked at Mrs. Lu with a gaze as cold as ice. Auntie, you're right. The deed is solely in Lu Ruyan's name. Back when we bought it to skirt the second home policy, since I had my parents' old house under my name, we used her first-time buyer qualification. I trusted her, so I agreed to put only her name on it. However, of the 1.2 million down, your family put up 300,000, and I paid 900,000. 700,000 of that was my own savings over the past few years, and the other 200,000 was given by my parents. I have kept every single transfer record and bank statement. Mrs. Lu's arrogant aura instantly shrank by half. Ignoring her, I continued. Aside from the down payment, the mortgage for the past 2 years, 12,000 a month, was paid by me alone. The 500,000 spent on renovations was also paid by me. I have solid evidence for all of this. Now that we're breaking up, it's fine if the apartment goes to Lu Ruyan, but she must return every single cent I spent, down to the last penny, including the 900,000 down, 288,000 for 24 months of mortgage, and 500,000 for renovations. Altogether, that comes to 1.688 million. Absolute silence filled the room instantly. Lu Ruyan and her mother stared at me dumbfounded, as if they didn't know me at all. In their impression, I had always been that loyal, obedient puppy boyfriend who hung on Lu Ruyan's every word. They thought that as long as they brought up our 7-year relationship and their crying and fuss, I would inevitably and gladly compromise. Yet they never expected me to be so calm this time, so resolute, and even calculating every oatsao with absolute clarity. Zishuan, you're ruthless. Our Ruyan gave you the best 7 years of her life. How can you calculate against her lie this? Auntie, be reasonable. If I had cheated today, wouldn't you make sure I didn't get a single penny? How does it become my ruthlessness when your daughter makes a mistake? Her scheming, is that a mistake? That was just a favor between friends. You're making a mountain of it. I nodded, no longer arguing about right or wrong. Since that's the case, there's nothing to talk about. Let's part on terms. All accounts cleared 1.688 million. Pay up and keep the house, or agree to sell it and split it according to our contribution ratios. Lu Ruyan finally snapped out of her SOC. She shook her head, tears streaming down. I don't have money. Where would I get that much money to give you? Don't treat me like this. Let's not break up. I was wrong. I was truly wrong. We can redo the banquet. I'm begging you to give me another chance. Her crying sounded exceptionally tragic. If it were before, I probably would have felt heartbroken and pulled her into my arms. But now, my heart was stone. If no money, sell the house. No. The house cannot be sold. That's Ruyan's wedding home. Wedding home? I sneered. I'm not the one marrying you. What home are we keeping? For Ito Makoto to lie in? Lu Ruyan's face instantly turned ashen again. She screamed, choked with tears. Zishuan, how can you say that? Am I, in your heart, really that kind of person? My dad, who had been silent all this time, finally spoke up. He stood up and walked over to Lu Ruyan and her mother. His tone was steady but carried undeniable authority. You too, my son has made himself very clear. Our family doesn't want to make this ugly, but we won't be taken advantage of for nothing. The house was a joint effort from both families. Since you aren't marrying, splitting by SC is fair. If you agree, we can sit down and talk properly. If not, then we'll have to meet in court. That won't benefit anyone. Dad's words shattered their defenses. She knew we were serious, and we had all the evidence. In court, they'd definitely lose. Then they wouldn't get a single cent, and might owe money. Auntie was reluctant. They had to nod in agreement. Ruyan stared blankly, full of disbelief. She never imagined that I, usually so gentle, could be this ruthless. But it was too late. From the moment she chose to abandon me at our engagement party and run to Ito Makoto, everything was beyond repair. Not long after, the house was bought by a newlywed couple. After deducting the 300,000 for Lu Ruyan, a good amount remained. That became my capital to start over. Having spent a whole year at construction sites, I learned a lot about the renovation industry. I also met some reliable suppliers and crews. I thought now might be the time to turn this into my own business. With my good friend's introduction, I met President Zhao of Yuan Group. He was looking for a renovation team. He tried several firms but wasn't satisfied. But my proposal impressed him. President Zhao said he'd open a renovation branch and wanted me to join. I'd be the branch manager. I agreed. In the days that followed, I threw myself into setting up the company, registering the company, renting office space, hiring staff. Everything started from scratch. 2 weeks later, Yuan renovation was launched. The office was in a high-end building, with a simple, stylish design. Every detail showed careful thought. On opening day, President Zhao came for the ribbon cutting. He invited many business friends and media. The event was very grand. I gave a speech as the branch manager. At that moment, I was no longer the man who groveled for love. I was an entrepreneur in charge of my future. But right after the opening ceremony, an uninvited guest showed up, Lu Ruyan. She was dead drunk, reeking of alcohol. Her hair was a mess. Seeing me, her eyes turned red. Zishuan, I finally found you. She lunged to hug me, but I dodged, and she fell hard to the ground. Why won't you reply to me? Why ignore my calls? She cried from the floor, drawing everyone's attention. President Zhao frowned at me. I was mortified. Was she trying to humiliate me? President Zhao asked, annoyed. Who is this? I answered helplessly. My ex-girlfriend. I crouched to help Lu Ruyan up, but she pushed me away, grabbing my pant leg tightly. She sobbed, barely able to breathe. Zixuan, don't abandon me. I know I was wrong. I can't lie without you. She looked like a scorned woman. Sparking whispers from the crowd. Seeing I was unmoved, Lu Ruyan changed her tune. She pointed at me and cried, look at this man. He abandoned our relationship for another woman. He sold our wedding house and kicked me out. He's a heartless jerk. Her words were like a bomb, exploding in the venue. Everyone's eyes were on me, full of contempt and spite. President Zhao's face darkened. Only friends knew of the engagement party, and it was just scattered chat records. Lu Ruyan dared to say this because she figured no one would believe her claims. She couldn't be happy, so she wanted to ruin me today, to make me miserable too. I was shaking with anger. My chest tight like a stone was lodged there. I've seen shameless people, but never this shameless. I took a deep breath, forcing myself to calm down. I looked at Lu Ruyan, still throwing a fit on the floor. Lu Ruyan, are you sure you want to air this here? My voice was quiet, but carried a chilling coldness. Lu Ruyan froze under my gaze, her crying gradually fading, but she kept cursing me. I nodded. I played a 6DO on my phone. It was footage from the security camera in our wedding house's living room. I'd installed it for security and to track renovation progress. I deleted it. I backed up clips before selling the house. I connected my phone to the big screen. Since you call me a heartless jerk, let everyone see who the real jerk is. The 6DO started playing. It showed Lu Ruyan and Ito Makoto on the sofa. Ruyan, will you marry Wang Zixuan? He's boring, not worthy of you. No choice, she's good to me, and we've been together long. We even bought a house. That's just material stuff. Your soul is lonely. Only I understand you. Ito Makoto said, taking her hand. Lu Ruyan didn't pull away, but leaned on his shoulder. Acheng, I want to run away with you. Then refuse his proposal. The house is in your name, right? Say something nice to sweet talk her. Get control of the house too. Then dump him. We can be together openly. The venue fell into silence. Everyone stared at the screen in SOC, then turned to look at Lu Ruyan on the floor. Lu Ruyan's face turned pale. I didn't stop. I played the second 6DO. It was the night before our engagement. I'd gone to work overtime because of a sudden project issue. In the 6DO, Ito Makoto walked in, and they kissed on the sofa. His hands started wandering. Lu Ruyan resisted half-heartedly, but leaned into Ito Makoto. Ito Makoto laughed and kissed her. With a buzz, the venue erupted. The contempt for me turned into disgust for Lu Ruyan. Lu Ruyan was stunned, staring blankly at my phone. Her mouth hung open. No sound came out. She probably never dreamed that her darkest, ugliest side would be exposed like this. I turned off the 6DO, looking down at her. Still think I'm the heartless one? She pointed at me, shaking. You spied on me. You're a pervert. If I weren't a little perverted, would I have walked into marriage? Wearing the green hat you gave me, and supported you and your best friend with my money? Lu Ruyan was speechless, only able to sob in despair on the floor. I ignored her, turned to the crowd, and said, Dear media friends, I know you want a shitari. I'll give you one. I sent the files via Bluetooth to every journalist. I sent the videos and records. I've even thought of headlines. Live the night before the wedding. The bride's sole connection with her best friend, or best friend of the year, sleeps with your wife. Thanks you for being so understanding. The journalists went wild, staring at their phones, faces full of excitement. Lu Ruyan glared at me, shaking with fury. I looked back coldly, then called the venue's security. They dragged Lu Ruyan out of the building in a humiliating state. The farce finally ended. I turned and bowed to all the guests, apologizing. The guests didn't blame me. Instead, they gave kind applause. But I felt no joy. Tearing open my own wounds like this was a form of self-harm, but to be free of her, it was worth it. After that, I never heard from her again. The next time I heard of her was 6 months later. My company was swamped with orders, and President Zhao was happy. His appreciation grew daily. He introduced me to his daughter, Zhao Qingya. Our relationship developed smoothly, but the day before I planned to propose, I got a call from the police. Hello, is this Wang Zishuan? We're from the police station. Your ex-girlfriend, Lu Ruyan, fell from your old apartment building. She's in the hospital now. She left a suicide note, accusing you of driving her to death. The moment I got that call, my mind went blank. Lu Ruyan jumped off a building and left a note saying I was the one who pushed her? Absurd, shocking. I felt a mix of emotions flooded my heart. Oh, officer, are you sure you've got the right person? We broke up long ago. What does her jumping have to do with me? Mr. Wang, we're just following procedure. The note has your name on it. We need you for questioning. After hanging up, I immediately called President Zhao. I explained the situation. He told me not to panic and said he'd send the company lawyer with me. Half an hour later, I met Lawyer Song from the company at Qingxi Police Station. Walking into the station, I felt a heavy atmosphere. Lu Ruyan's parents were there, and Ito Makoto too. Lu Ruyan's mother lunged at me like a madwoman, trying to hit me, cursing me as a murderer. Officers pulled them away. Lu Ruyan's father, eyes red, they stared at me coldly. Ito Makoto stood to the side. I avoided their gaze, not daring to meet my eyes. An officer led me into an interrogation room. Lawyer Song followed. The officer slid a printed document toward me. Lu Ruyan's suicide note. I picked up the paper, my hands trembling slightly. It read, "To my beloved Zishuan, when you see this letter, I'll have left this world. Forgive me for proving my lop. I know I was wrong. I shouldn't have tangled with Ito Makoto. I shouldn't have planned to run from the engagement party with him. And I shouldn't have said those things. But I truly loved you. Those 7 years together. Have you forgotten them all? I thought if I turned back, you'd still be waiting. But I never expected you to be so cruel. You sold our home. You humiliated me in front of everyone. You pushed me to the edge. Your company is thriving now. You're a bot everyone envies. You must have found a prettier girl. You've been wanting to get rid of me for a while, haven't you? The engagement party was an excuse. Zishuan, you're so cruel. I'm leaving, taking all my lop and disappointment with me. I curse you with my life. May you lie in guilt forever. Never find happiness. Lop, Ruyan. After reading, I shook with rage. What a twisted suicide note. What a vicious curse. She had to smear me in death, tagging me with driving his ex to suicide. Mr. Wang, regarding this letter, do you have anything to say? The officer was very serious. I replied coldly, it's not all lies. I didn't drive him to death. He dug his own grave. I recounted the whole shittery of Lu Ruyan and me, from lop to breakup, including her affair with Ito Makoto, and how he caused trouble at my company. In full detail, Lawyer Song added, Officer, I have no legal relationship with her. As a person with full civil capacity, her suicide was her own choice. The consequences aren't mine. This letter is full of subjective assumptions and emotional accusations. It can't be used as evidence of my fault. The officer nodded and took notes carefully. Suddenly, the officer asked about Ito Makoto's situation. I froze. Where was Ito Makoto? Wasn't Lu Ruyan already with him? So when she jumped, where was Ito Makoto? The officer stood up and left. Song and I waited in the interrogation room. About 20 minutes later, the officer returned, looking a bit off. He said things might be more complicated than we thought. They'd check the surveillance. Lu Ruyan went to the roof alone. She stayed for an hour, on the phone the whole time. Checking her call log, it lasted 40 minutes. They found her last call was to Ito Makoto. What did they talk about? My heart sank. Her last call was to Ito Makoto. What did they talk about? The officer looked at me and explained slowly. Lu Ruyan was pregnant. She wanted Ito to take responsibility, but Ito Makoto was a lazy bum. He did nothing all day, and had lost his job due to the scandal. He couldn't handle that responsibility, so he tried to shake her off. But he didn't expect her to threaten suicide. If Ito wouldn't be with her, she'd jump. Ito thought she was bluffing. So he said some provoking things to her. What did he say? I pressed. The officer sighed and said Ito Makoto told her, jump if you want. Die already, then you'd stop bothering me. Did you think I liked you? I was just playing with you. You were so easy to fool. Wang Zishuan didn't want you. Did you think I'd take you? Dream on. After saying that, Lu Ruyan hung up. Less than a minute after hanging up, she jumped. After hearing that, I was frozen. So the last straw for Lu Ruyan wasn't me. It was the friend she trusted. How ironic. I don't know whether to pity or hate her. Lawyer Song caught the point. Officer, Ito's actions amount to negligent homicide. The officer nodded. We're investigating that angle. If confirmed, he'll face legal consequences. As I walked out of the interrogation room, I saw Ito, lie a limp mess, being dragged out of another room by 2 officers. His face was ashen, eyes empty. He muttered he wasn't a murderer. Lu Ruyan's parents heard the news. They rushed at Ito, hitting and cursing him. The station erupted into chaos. I stood apart from the crowd, watching coldly. A farce born of betrayal, ending with 1 dead and 1 in jail. 2 days later, the hospital reported Lu Ruyan's injuries were too severe. She died despite rescue efforts, and Ito Makoto, suspected of negligent homicide, was formally detained. This sparked a huge online uproar. On the day my company opened, the news the reporters released had already socially killed Lu Ruyan and Ito Makoto once. Now, with her jump and his arrest, the internet was buzzing. Public opinion was divided. Some called me heartless, driving my ex to her death, accusing me of cyberbullying. Others said Lu Ruyan deserved it, not worth sympathy. Others blamed Ito Makoto, calling him the real culprit, playing with feelings and indirectly inciting suicide. Opinions were divided. Yuan Group's PR acted fast. They released a statement. It clarified that Lu Ruyan and I had long broken up, and emphasized her suicide was a tragedy caused by many factors, urging netizens to be rational. President Zhao also called me personally, comforting me not to be swayed by outside talk. Zhao Qingya, worried for me, moved into my place, cared for my daily life, but I was actually very calm inside. After all I'd been through, I no longer wanted to dwell on the past. Let them say what they want. I have a clear conscience. After all, I've started a new chapter in my life. We set our wedding for 6 months later. The streets were decorated for the wedding, full of joy. I wore a traditional red wedding robe. Amidst the clamor of gongs and drums and blessings from friends and family, I went to pick up the bride. Zhao Qingya wore a phoenix crown and cape. She was stunningly beautiful. Seeing her smiling face, I felt true happiness and peace. I found the one to walk with me, a soulmate for life. On our wedding night, Zhao Qingya leaned on my shoulder and whispered, "Actually, our first meeting wasn't at the celebration banquet." She asked if I remembered the young couple who came to see the house when I sold it. A light bulb went off in my head. That day, there was indeed a very loving young couple who really liked that house. And the girl, I looked at her in SOC. Zhao Qingya smiled and nodded. To see the house. She and her driver had disguised themselves. When she heard from the agent that I was selling the house because my fiancé had betrayed me, she felt a special connection to me. Sympathy, but mostly curiosity. So later, at the celebration banquet, when President Zhao introduced us, Zhao Qingya wasn't surprised. She felt it was fate. Listening to her shitari, my heart was in turmoil. Our connection started long ago. I held her tightly, as if to merge her into my bones. Thank you, Qingya. Thank you for seeing my light when I was at my lowest. Thank you for healing all my wounds with your love.